But anyway, you can go ahead now.
I'm Makenna Carpenter. I'm a junior at Cathedral this year, and I'm a pole vaulter. My PR is 11:10. And freshman year, I finished sixth at outdoor state, and then last year, my sophomore year, I finished seventh. And then my freshman year, I placed fifth at the HSR indoor relays.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's
nice.
awesome. So, pole vault isn't the initial field event that most would say, I want to be a pole vaulter, right? So, how did that specific event?
Yeah, so I was a gymnast, pretty
Okay.
all growing up, and I got a little tall and was getting injured a lot, and it was an easy transition. Like I've heard of other gymnasts who have made that transition, and funny enough, my mom actually looked up like what tall gymnasts go to, like what sports they do after, and it was like pole vault and diving, and I didn't really want to dive, so I tried pole vaulting and fell in love with it, and here I am now.
Wow.
Nice.
Shout out to mom. She researched some.
Nice.
Exactly.
Well, how tall are you? Just out of
I'm
curiosity.
5'7", so
Oh,
not that tall, but for a gymnast, pretty tall.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
you've grown out of the gymnastics.
Yeah.
Arena.
Yeah.
Okay. So what brought you the and you're at I mean, well, that's a difficult transition, isn't it? From
It's not as difficult as you would think because
Oh,
most
wow.
gymnasts have like good body awareness and we're not afraid, which I think is
Ah,
an important thing. But I mean, it definitely is different, but luckily I was able to carry over pretty well.
yeah, that makes sense having a body awareness. So, what would you say again? You're transitioning from being a gymnast and now you're this pole vaulter. Who or what's been your biggest inspiration around the sport, right? Because that's a little bit of you having to pivot. Maybe people you were inspired by now. Who are you inspired by in the sport now?
Yeah, well, definitely, I think Mondo is really inspiring. I think he's kind of pioneered so many new, like, I don't know, he's brought a lot of attention to football, and also he's insane, like 7 world records or something. But I also really look up to Jen Sir. She started vaulting not until like after she was a collegiate like basketball player, but she didn't start pole vaulting until like I think it was like her senior year of college. But she like has it world national indoor record. So I think she's really inspiring to me to show that no matter how old you are or where you're at in life, you're still capable of doing things.
nice. Well, and you just started when? Last year?
No, I started pole vaulting like I quit gymnastics like halfway through 7th grade, and that's
Okay.
why.
All right. Because you're a junior, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that had been 3 years ago. Okay. So and then eighth grade you started pole vaulting?
I started like halfway through 7th grade, so I competed at the middle school state 7th grade and 8th grade.
Oh, it was an immediate transition for you.
Right.
Yeah.
It was, well, Christmas break is here. We're done with that. Let's go to Bobo.
Exactly. I feel like I'm a very competitive person. My
Okay.
my entire family's an athlete, so I don't know. I needed to be in some sort of sport. So once I got into it, I fully committed.
Oh, nice. Now, do you vote with a club, like a
Um,
local club?
yeah. So I bought with DC Pool Ball out in Greenfield. So yeah.
Okay, nice.
What would you say has been your favorite memory from competing? You already shared with us, you've been to state a couple of times, so you can share a memory from that or just your favorite memory about.
I definitely would say my favorite memory was probably state my freshman year. I was just friends with a lot of the girls that were competing. And it was just a very like it was definitely like competitive, but also just such a fun competition. Like I was definitely a little like stressed and felt the pressure, but at the same time, I was able to like relax and really enjoy and live up to every second of it. So I feel like that's definitely a highlight for me. And then also, I would say I've been out to Reno, Nevada, like twice for the big pole vault summit there, and I think that just is an incredible experience where I really grew and was able to hear from different professionals. So I think that was really memorable for me as well.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Tell, uh, tell us a little bit about that out in Reno.
Right.
Like what happens there? Because that's new. Neither of us are pole vaulters.
Yes,
You're the
yes.
you're the
So
first
we're
first vaulter
learning
on
too.
here. So tell us a little bit about it.
So it's a big pole vault. I think it's the biggest pole vault competition in the states, maybe even in the world. But it's in like this like expo barn, and there's like they fit like 20 pits in here. Like the runways are all like lined up next to each other.
Wow.
But you get there on a Friday, like Friday, and on that Friday you have like workshops that you go to. So you go and practice with like different coaches. There's like a panel with like, because also Friday night there's an elite competition. So like you'll see all of like Katie Moon, who won the gold in 2020 at the 2020 Olympics. She's been there. It's like all of your best pole vaulters come from all across the world, so you get to hear them on like a panel. And then that night, as I said, there was the competition that everybody goes and watch the elites jump. And then the next morning's full of competition for high schoolers and middle schoolers and all that.
So what's the pole vault community like? I know, so like heptathletes, they're all cool because they're together for 2 days. You know, most long jumpers are pretty cool with each other because they see each other meet in and meet out. What's the pole vault culture like?
I would say it's probably very similar. It's a tight knit community. It's definitely growing, but I would say like it is also like a small circle. Like most of the people I compete against, especially the bigger meets, we're seeing each other a lot. So we kind of all have a relationship and we're all there to support each other through the meets. But we definitely know each other and like cheer each other on to be there for each other.
What would you say is one of the most challenging things about being a pole vaulter, right? You just talked about how the pole vault community is small.
Yeah.
I can only imagine, right, the camaraderie around even other athletes from other teams and you all wanting yourselves to do your best. But what would you say is one of the challenges of being a pole vaulter?
I would say it's definitely the mental aspect of it, because if you're afraid, like you're not going to be able to succeed, especially in a sport where you're flinging yourself up in the air over like a bar that hurts when you land on it. So I think it's definitely just like finding that confidence within yourself, because you may be fast enough and strong enough to clear those bars, but if you're not mentally there and like present in every single moment and have the faith in yourself, then you're not going to be able to succeed. So I think it's the hardest thing for me is just making sure I'm confident and ready to like attack every vault with like the right mental attitude.
Speaking of mental
Yes.
attitude, how do you mentally prep for these types of events?
I definitely I like to kind of close myself off a little bit. Like if I'm talking to people, I don't really want to be talking about pole vault, and I kind of want to get my mind off of it. Or if I am thinking about it, like I just want to be thinking about it myself. But I also just like listening to podcasts, like on the bus ride to meets. I feel like that really helps me. And then also like just visualizing and like walking through all the steps. And if it's during the meet, like doing small little drills on the side. It's just that way I know like, oh, I'm confident enough to do this and know that I know exactly what I need to do for my jumps.
All right. I have a follow-up question to that. I often when I watch pole vault, now I see people when they get to their last jump, they've missed the first two, they get to the last jump. How do you reset yourself after those two misses?
It definitely can be hard, and sometimes like you definitely like have doubts in yourself, but the way I try to approach it is like if I get to my third one, it's like, okay, like pressure's on, like I know I can do it. But I just try to take deep breaths and just really calm myself down. And then as soon as I step on the runway, I just try to block everything out and really just focus on what I'm doing, but also not over analyze it, because if I think about it too much, then I'm going to get in my head. So have a good balance.
Makenna, have you always been that way where it's like, okay, I know I have to reset, right? And when you're thinking about people who may be thinking about the event, like have you always had that mindset, like, look, reset, or what has kind of helped you get to that point?
I would say definitely this last year I've really like focused on it more, but I've never really struggled with it too much. I'm a very competitive person, so like when it comes down to it, like I know I like need to lock in, but so like I've always like kind of been that way, but especially this past season, I feel like I've really grown into that, and really just try to reset, like if I've had a bad jump and just move on from it, so that way like not get stuck in the past with my jumps.
All right, nice. Tell us about what your obviously you're pretty good at this. So what are the short-term, long-term goals? What do those look like for you?
This year I want to jump like 12.6, and I would like to win state, and then I would also like to go to college for it and pursue that at the collegiate level. But I think more short term, just making sure I'm like in a meet, transitioning the technique I've been working on at practice to the meets. That way I can clear those 12.6, 13-foot bars. And then hopefully with those bars, then I can win state in those bigger meets.
Nice.
How has being an athlete shaped who you are? So we know you have that competitive side, but who is Makenna? When we see you on the field, what would we say about you and your character?
I feel like it's definitely like well, it's taught me like time management. Like I don't know. I feel like that's something that I'll always be able to carry out just between balancing school and extracurriculars and track and homework and all that stuff. And I also feel like it's taught me that like if I want something, then I need to work for it. It's not just going to come naturally. So like just that determination in every aspect of my life, where if I want to accomplish something, then I need to put in the work for it, and I can't just let it come to me. So I'm really grateful that pole vaulting has like kind of taught me that. But other than that, I just feel like it's also taught me just how to be like a good person and like learn that like yes, like your biggest competitors, you're there to compete with them, but also like you have to still treat them with respect, still support them. So I think like that sportsmanship aspect of it has also like really shaped me as a person.
Yeah. That's yeah, I like that. Well, let me ask you this: what makes you a great teammate?
Mhm.
I feel like no matter who you are, whether you're a freshman or a senior, I'm always going to be there to support for you and cheering for you on the sidelines. I feel like what's really helped me, especially through high school, is I've felt the most confident and like the best athlete when I have those teammates there cheering for me and supporting me and uplifting me. So I kind of have always wanted to reciprocate for all those people that support me. And I just want to be that person for everybody that they know they can come to and really that's always going to be there supporting them.
So you share with us what being a great teammate looks like. How would you say being a great competitor? How does that look for you?
I think I feel like I've seen it all, but I think it's definitely for me, it's somebody that like you definitely like are fighting, like you're very competitive with each other and you want always like be better than each other to the point where you're pushing each other to do the best of your ability, but also not like holding grudges on each other when when one of us outdoes the other person. So I think no matter how either competitor does at a certain meet, that they're still there to support you, but also be there to compete with you.
Okay, so you have like a unique, not you. Well, I guess it is unique, in terms of how your philosophy in approaching this and your
Yeah.
competitors and everything else. What do you think sets people apart from being great athletes and good athletes?
I think it's definitely the work ethic. Like if you have somebody that just is naturally good versus somebody like yeah they can be good and they go to the practices that are scheduled, but I think people that are great like they work outside of practice. Like they get up early in the morning and they do drills. They really recover. They go take ice baths. Like they really take the extra step. And I feel like from that's based off of my experiences. I feel like that's really like helped develop an athlete and make them out outshine some of the others.
How would you or how do you focus on or balance your personal goals with your team goals when you compete?
I feel like, luckily for me, well, not luckily, but my personal goals, like if I'm able to focus on them and really work on them, then the team will do better. Because it's like I'm not on a relay or anything, so it's a little different. But I feel like if I really prioritize my goals and work for what I can do, then I'll be able to benefit the team the most. If that makes sense.
You talked about in the beginning how your mom, like when gymnastics was kind of like, your parallel to that was doing pole vault. So how has your parents and your village supported you in this journey as a pole vaulter?
I feel like they're always there and they're always pushing me to do better. Like I remember from middle school to freshman year, they like really kind of helped me click that like if I want to be the best in high school now, then I'm gonna have to put in the extra work. So I think just helping stay realistic with me, but also like being there if I have a bad day or a great day, like knowing that they're always going to be there and love me and support me no matter how I can how I compete. And luckily, like my dad was a professional athlete, so I think having him there and kind of guiding me on like just knowing how to approach sports and how to approach just a balance and like really what it takes to stand out.
Okay. What sport did your dad play?
He was a race car. Well, he is a race car driver.
Oh
Oh,
wow. Shout out to you gotta shout out your mom and dad. I was gonna say you gotta give them name shout outs. We like to have the athletes uh show appreciation.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that his experiences have really they really helped me and encouraged me to do my best.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's your mom and dad's name?
So my mom's Heather Carpenter, and then my dad's Ed Carpenter.
All right. Cool. Now you've placed the state, so you have medals. I'm sure you
Mhm.
won some competitions along the way. How do you celebrate those?
I love to go I love to go out to dinner after them with just my friends and my family. Really, I guess that's it. I don't know. Just living in the moment, being happy and not I don't know, really be present with the moment and not try to escape and think about other things. Just be there and celebrate the win and just be grateful for all that I have and enjoy some food over that.
What type of food do you enjoy when you celebrate? Because I know Coach Weir wants to.
I feel like it kind of changes depending on what mood I am, but I definitely love some Italian food after a meet.
See, Coach Weir, that's not bad. He's our big nutrition guru. So
So
you need the carbs before competition.
no, okay. I'm a chiropractor and I do like nutrition stuff and functional medicine and sports
Mhm.
stuff. So that's why she's always messed with me. But speaking of that, how do you like keep yourself fit? Like physically recover from injuries? What do you do to prevent those? And how do
um,
you recover from those?
so I lift weekly, and I feel like that's really helped me with the strength to prevent injuries. And then I try to eat well, like get my protein in, especially after a hard workout. But just have a balanced diet. And then I also find recovery really important. Like during the season, I try to take ice baths almost every day, or especially before the night before a meet, and just constantly rolling out and stretching and bringing my massage gun with me to all the meets just to make sure my body's the best, to the best of so my body can perform the best of its ability.
Awesome. Do you feel, if at all, that you had to make any sacrifices being an athlete? And if so,
I
what?
I definitely feel like I've had to sacrifice things, whether it be hanging out with my friends, missing spring break, social things. Luckily, I feel like with pole vault, it's a pretty flexible schedule, and also like all of my close friends are athletes as well, so we're all able to help. I don't know, we're all able to recognize it better and understand, have that level of understanding that being an athlete, you can't always be hanging out every single day. So definitely just like little things like that. But I feel like in the long run, it's worth it because pole vaulting is what I love to do. So it can be hard in the moment, but also once it happens, I'm grateful that I chose pole vault over some other things.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
I,
That's
I
awesome.
have I have a question. It's 2025, June, whatever. You're the new state champion, pole vault. How do you celebrate that?
Um, in the summer, I probably would come back home and jump in my pool and order pizza or something, have my friends over. And probably something along those lines.
I'm laughing at the pizza because I know words.
If pizza's okay, you're a state champion. Eat what you want. You can
Look,
have pizza and ice
yes,
cream. Do it up. Get
yes,
cookies too.
yes. I love it. I love it.
Uh,
Yes, because we're going to speak that into existence.
we've said that one time before with
Yeah.
one other person, and we were correct. But I'm just saying, we're just putting it out there in the universe.
Yes, yes.
Um, well, we appreciate you joining us. This has been fun. This was
Yeah, thank you
Yes,
for
yeah,
having me. I enjoyed it.
yeah.
yes. If we want to follow you, if our viewers want to follow you, where can they follow you or what social media?
My pole vault Instagram is mckennacarpenter.pv. And then my regular handle is just mckenna.elaine. On Twitter, I believe it's the same handle. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Makenna, for joining us. And we look
Thank you
forward
for
to seeing
having me.
your
Yeah.
successes this year for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.